5 things that could happen if Brock Lesnar loses his Universal Championship. Number 5. A UFC return. The most obvious situation that could happen if Brock Lesnar loses his Universal Championship at WrestleMania 35 is that the Beast will make his long-awaited return to the Octagon and have another fight in the UFC. Lesnar and Dana White have been waiting patiently for the situation to happen, and it's actually quite surprising it has taken this long. After Lesnar first returned to UFC back at UFC 226, Lesnar entered the cage following Daniel Cormier's victory and shoved him around, seemingly setting up a major heavyweight fight in the near future. However, that fight has yet to take place. Dana White recently spoke about the possibility of the two men coming to blows and stated, "I think both guys really want it. Cormier wants it bad and Brock wants it bad. So when two fighters want to fight each other as bad as these two do, I think it's going to happen." Whether the fight happens right away or gets held off until the summer is unclear, but it seems all but guaranteed Lesnar will have at least one more UFC fight, especially since there's main event money to be made from it. Number 4. Moving to SmackDown Live. Ever since Brock Lesnar made his return to WWE, he has been firmly featured on Monday Night Raw, to the point where most fans just associate the Beast with the flagship show. But what many often forget is that SmackDown was his home for most of his career during his initial run with WWE. While SmackDown has often been considered the Beast show, all that is set to change soon when the brand moves to Fox, with WWE set to put a lot of focus on SmackDown in 2019 to ensure it starts off with impressive ratings. One way WWE will do that is by adding some big names to the show, which could start happening as soon as the upcoming Superstar shakeup, which is coming just after WrestleMania this year. One of those names could include Brock Lesnar, as he was recently advertised as SmackDown Live Superstar for a show in October, which takes place after WWE's move to Fox. This will certainly be a way of getting a lot of eyeballs on the blue brand, as Lesnar hasn't appeared on the show regularly in such a long time. Having already achieved everything he can on Raw, it would be interesting to see WWE switch things up for the Beast. Number 3. The Universal Championship is heavily featured. While having Brock Lesnar on the roster is an obvious box office draw, and it makes sense to position someone as dominant as him as a champion, it does bring with it one major negative, which is that the Universal Championship is never around. To say it's supposed to be WWE's #1 title, the belt is rarely seen on Raw due to Lesnar's part-time schedule, which has taken a lot away from the championship, with fans not caring about it as much as they should. This isn't helped by the fact that the championship is so new, and that Lesnar has dominated it pretty much since its inception, with the very shorter runs for other champions thrown amongst his 2 reigns so far. Whenever he does drop the title, it's guaranteed to become a focal point on Raw on a weekly basis, with the champion set to proudly display the belt on a weekly basis, defending it on every pay-per-view, which will help raise its prestige in the eyes of the WWE Universe. Number 2. New names enter the title scene. Because the Universal Championship has barely been defended during Brock Lesnar's run as champion, WWE has to pick and choose who they had to fight for the title, often going for the biggest names possible, such as Roman Reigns. While this makes sense, as it helps sell a show, it has meant that many worthy names have missed out on being in the title scene, which has stunted the growth of different characters on the brand, therefore damaging WWE as a whole. After all, it's unlikely a name like Kofi Kingston would be getting a title opportunity on Raw if the Beast was still champion. People like Drew McIntyre have had to sit around waiting, despite being more than capable of being involved in the title scene, as well as that those wrestlers who have been given the chance haven't been able to have the run with the title that they should have. People like Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe were red hot when they feuded with Brock Lesnar and should have become champions, but because WWE was invested in a long reign to protect Lesnar, they missed a trick. It has taken Joe over a year to get back to his strongest and finally get a title run, while Strowman has slowly become a comedic one-spot act who will spend this WrestleMania feuding with celebrity correspondents and wrestling in a pointless battle royale. Number 1. A new Paul Heyman guy or girl. Being realistic, whenever Lesnar does drop the title, the likelihood is that he'll be leaving WWE, at least for a while. While it'll be a shame to lose someone with the presence that he commands, it'll be a bigger loss to lose Paul Heyman. Heyman is still WWE's best microphone man, and his ability to capture a crowd's attention and tell a story is unchallenged in the company. He can help get over a match, his client, and the opponent all at the same time, without even breaking a sweat. WWE would be smart to keep Heyman around and have him manage a new talent when Lesnar loses the title, allowing him to continue to give back to the business and help out over today's roster. We have seen Heyman work with some names that aren't Lesnar during his second spell with WWE to varying degrees of success. His run with CM Punk is very good, while his time with Cesaro or Ryback was a little less so. However, if WWE can pair him up with the right guy, perhaps letting Heyman himself choose, then magic could take place again. Whether it be a talent coming up from NXT or to create something totally new, a female wrestler, it would be fun to see Heyman with another wrestler that isn't Lesnar. Put Putting him with a woman would be very interesting, especially since the division is at its peak right now, as he would certainly be able to help get the fans even more invested into what is happening. What do you think will happen when Lesnar loses his title? Let us know in the comment section below.